Hey folks, a lot of people are wondering how these card decks work, how you can make Dalcro style activities using the Make It Music card decks. So you pull a card from the first deck, the starter deck, gives you a little bit of an idea of what to do. This one says 2 by 2, which means we're gonna take 2 steps followed by 2 claps, create a little pattern with that. Here's a group of 4th graders that are doing the 2 by 2 pattern. You can see they're kind of locked in. Maybe one thing I might do is invite them to, instead of clapping on their own, to find a partner to clap with each time. That's just a little element you can add. Kind of interesting. Once you get bored with that, perhaps then you can go on to this next one, which says to do twice as slow and twice as fast. And so in this one, you're going to try to get them to do that. I think this time we do it without piano just to kind of try to get the twice as slow, twice as fast happening. And I think it was a little bit of a struggle for them to do it initially without any accompaniment. So I started to add some accompaniment. You could use piano, you could use drum, you could use a guitar, you could use your voice, something for them to connect to on a twice as slow and twice as fast pattern. The twice as slow is a little harder than the twice as fast. And then you can make it a quick reaction or a follow activity by cueing when it's going to change and when it's not going to change. And you can see how they are practicing that twice as slow and twice as fast, and it's pretty fun, especially when you add the element of them being able to try to find a partner during that time. I really like to do these activities with the students, and I make sure they're aware that I'm just pulling these cards and creating these activities in the moment, which I think makes them a little more excited to see how it unfolds and curious, and that it's not just something that's kind of pre-prepared, but that's something that we're all kind of discovering together. So I find this to be pretty satisfying. And you can see them interacting with each other. You can see them trying to follow along with the music and try to get that. Every time it changes, you notice that some of the children are a little bit out of sorts while they adjust to the new groove. And then the idea is to make that adjustment kind of as smooth as possible going through it, whether it's twice as slow or twice as fast. And then continuing that 2 steps and 2 claps pattern. I think this activity is starting to come together, and we're having a lot of fun with the challenge of it. Maybe after a little bit of time, you might get kind of bored with that, and so then it's time to pull a challenge card from the 3rd deck. And this card says how might you write this exercise with a non-traditional notation. And so, okay, really quick in a moment, how might we do that? So I decided to use this sort of like box notation that I kind of see in like fractions sort of using. You can see, and I use 2 different colors for the steps and the claps so they can see this is the size of that beat level. And then as we add in to the next beat level, we can make those boxes half the size. And then they start to see that proportion of the fraction. Even one student might shout out, "This is just like fractions." It's like, okay, good. Yeah, that's interesting. You can see how now the 2 steps there fit inside the space of one of the steps before, and then the claps fit in right there. And you can see the whole pattern, step, step, clap, clap, is now in that space. So they can start to see how the twice as slow and twice as fast proportion works, which is really interesting. And then when we do the twice as slow, wow, they can really see that these have tremendous size to those beats. Really, really interesting. Once they see it all finished there, they can really start to put the pieces together. That makes it for an interesting piece. Now we'll practice it again, this time now with the notation, as we can kind of point to each level there and they can see. And it started to improve their performance as well to think of it this way. So I think it was a really good activity that just got put together with random cards without any prior training. The students were able to make that discovery. Usually I follow it up with a discussion too.